And we're back for another GAC here. This is the final match of this week. We've gone 1-1 on our last two. Our last one went all right. We almost got him with ships, but then we couldn't full clear on his bottom wall. So now we're going up against Dace Joy. It's actually someone who went up against one of our former guildmates recently, so we've had a little bit of experience. And I was tracking through his history, and he's been changing a lot of things in what he's been doing. But before we get into the actual defense there, let's go ahead and check out what this guy's advantage looks like. So he's got only about 300 more relic levels than us. That's quite a bit lower than typical, so that's good for us. He does have less Omicron, so we have him beat there. However, like everyone, he's got Star Killer on us, and that's really starting to rag on our our climb really in GC. We need to get him ASAP because that's just not going to get better. So yeah, he's got Star Killer there. He is missing several JC Omicrons that we have that he doesn't, though. We have the First Order TIE Pilot, which is very new, so that one really is almost expected. But we also have Iden and Dash on him, so not the best ones in the world. I think really he has maybe the best four, so he's still doing pretty fine there, but it's something we have on him. He does have Ray on us, like most everyone as well, and we have him just barely beaten mods. Like, we had 6 more. I mean, I don't even know if we haven't beaten mods. It seems to be a lot of give and take here. Like, we have 10 more plus 10s, we have 6 more plus 10s, or sorry, plus 20s, and he has like 17 more plus 15s, so it's a really big back and forth. And then he has like 90 more 6-dot mods, so pretty even across the board there. And then yeah, he's got his 300 relic advantage, so shouldn't be an impossible match, but it's going to be an interesting one with the way he's setting his defense. So what he's been doing over the last couple of weeks in 3v3 is pretty much just progressively setting a harder and harder defense. I saw this difference between the way he was setting things 2 weeks ago and the way he set it last week. And last week he was really moving towards a full FU defense, which pretty much what I mean by that is all Galactic Legends, Star Killer, Darth Revan. I'm guessing he probably has gas somewhere in the back wall. It's just a lot of stuff. So you can see right here he's got JMK and Star Killer and SLKR, so that's 3 really good ones. I did see that he was making this move towards this, so I took everything on offense. Not everything, but I took all my Galactic Legends on offense, so we should be able to full clear him pretty easily. That's probably an overestimation of pretty easily, because there are some still really good teams here. But like, we'll probably be able to nest that. I've got to figure out what Lord Vader wants to kill, because the only team that he can kill, I think, super easily, he probably kill that. He could probably mirror Lord Vader really easily because she has a non-Empire in that team. But yeah, we'll have to see what we want to do, but it doesn't really look too impossible. Our defense isn't all that special. I'll show the back wall that's a lot lighter than typical. Typically, I would have JMK and Lord Vader hiding back here, but this time we just opted to throw in Phasma. And I think we put Mon Mothma back on defense because he wasn't leaving the Hoda raid team, which is really the rough one even for other Galactic Legend counters, but he set it this time, so that we're gonna have to get creative there. We still might have to use SLKR, but maybe with GBA instead of Hoda, but it should be a good match. Like I said, I think we'll be able to full clear. Not sure how he'll do. Again, he's been changing his defense moving into this week, so it's really hard to compare what is happening now to what he's done before, but let's go ahead and get to the battles. All right, guys, let's go ahead and get to these battles now. So we actually did things a little bit differently. I wanted to start off on a good note, so we went ahead and hit the top wall. We went ahead and beat the Maul team with Nest, just because I wanted to start, like I said, I want to start the match on a high note, and we definitely weren't going to find any better matchup for Nest than Maul. So we just dived right into this. This team was really weird. This doesn't change anything. It wouldn't have changed if she was like 350 speed. But the Droideka was slower than Maul, which means her whole purpose here was entirely useless. Because Maul was going to go, and then Candace was going to go, and then you don't have any more Frenzy to proc after that. So, huge waste. I mean, yeah, but you might as well just throw another Mandalorian in there, like Jango or Bam or something like that would have kept us from just flat out soloing him here, because that's exactly what we did. That was super easy. We go into the bottom wall now, and he has more Galactic Legends down and maybe on the back wall than we have in general. So we're gonna have to off meta some things. So we go ahead and take in Jedi Knight Revan, Jedi Knight Luke armor versus SLKR, and we've gotten this to work once recently. We haven't failed with it yet, and the one that we beat before this was really stupid fast, very fast. So I figured this would work. We went ahead and we marked Hux. I really wanted the Stormtrooper to use his TM up because that decreased SLKR's max health and max protection. So that was super nice. Once again, just like last time, we're able to get armor shred onto SLKR. This is going really, really well now. We're gonna try to time things. I was counting his attacks. I know that he has the swipe next. Unfortunately, we don't have the blind. That would be really, really great when he has the swipe, but even then, like, he's not doing so hot health wise. So we kill him on a counter, and it's really, really easy. Oh gosh. Okay, so this one, yeah. So we need to kill the JMK, and I had, like I said, quite a few of my Galactic Legends for offense, actually all of them. And I was debating what would be best to kill his JMK and his Ray, because those were the two best teams. And I was like, all right, so my JMK is going to be either one. Which one is SLKR going to beat better? And a lot of people were like saying this is really good, and this is like really high win rates. Oh, but man, like doing this one under Relict, it's super sketchy. They've got like it's a full R8 team. SLKR is R7. Daka is R5. Zombie is gear 12, which is actually really bad because we're going to have to use Zombie's revives on Daka. And the character that is being revives with the same amount of health that Zombie has. So our super paper Zombie is barely reviving Daka with anything. And we really misplayed that there, I guess, too. We should have saved Daka's heal. So now we've lost Daka. All three of their characters are still alive. That hit almost killed me. So I'm getting like super nervous right now. Like, this is not good. This is not good at all. Like, getting very close to killing me. Luckily, I have a 100% health mod at SLKR. So I think that helped a little bit. We start by charging a little bit more on our ultimate, but this is on our next ultimate. This is starting to get kind of sketchy because they keep getting foresight up, so we're not actually hitting them and recovering health. It just doesn't look good. It really doesn't look good here. So barely able to kill Cat. Their JMK almost kills me, and then SLKR just flat out one-shots him. So what we're doing now is we're trying to handle all of his Galactic Legends to see if we can beat them without Galactic Legends, so that way I can use the Galactic Legend against Starkiller. And so he had C down. It wasn't a very good comp. The Dooku actually had quite a bit of potency. He had maybe, let's say 130%, so with C like 190%. So there's a lot of potency on Dooku, but luckily we have a fully, not fully, but a pretty heavy tenacity mod of Wampa. And then that on top of the fact that he has to take a few hits before Dooku is even has a chance to apply the ability block. So he had enough tenacity to get rid of all those. And after that, it's just really just a waiting game. We did learn a little bit about what happens in this battle when you have bad RNG, and we'll get to that in the next 3 minutes. But basically, there's some good RNG depending on how things land. Like if you can end a certain turn really well, where C will come in and use his mass assist on you, it won't apply to C, so you have a chance to actually counter, just like now. So if you can line those type of turns up along with the healing immunity that doesn't always land but sometimes lands, if you can line those two up well, you can actually kill him really quickly. But there's no trick to that. There's no way to reduce the RNG on that. You just kind of have to give with what you're taking. I mean, there's no real way to control that. So you guys can see here that things are going well for the most part. We keep stacking and stacking and stacking our offense, and eventually RNG just starts to not go our way. Every single time we're using the healing immunity, he's resisting it. He's getting back to full protection. Every single time he goes in to use his mass assist, we have deceive, so we can't really counter it. And this is after our health, our offense is already stacked up a lot. So, but without that, we're not really getting anywhere. We really need, like I said, those two things to line up correctly. And right now, they're really just not. So we put it on auto for a little bit. Not a great idea because he won't use the icebreaker, and we kind of need him to do that sometimes. So yeah, C's pretty much back to full health, full protection. He's gained quite a bit of mastery now as far as this has gone off. So he's has some good stat increases as well. And about to the last minute here, and we don't do it exactly the last minute, but at the last minute, if this happens to you, just start using basics. Like forget the other two abilities. I guess maybe not icebreaker, but if you only have a minute left, you really need to start just using basics. Otherwise, he's just going to keep living. And that's really not what we want to win. So we do eventually kill him with about 30 seconds left to spare, but it got kind of close to the point where I was like, if I didn't switch to basics, it probably would have just timed out. So now we have a Galactic Legend to spare on Starkiller, which is really good because Starkiller's a monster. We did have our first order, but I still think with my Lobster only being R5, he doesn't really have what it takes for this to work. So we burned Thrawn elsewhere. Actually, apparently I don't have that video in here. I must have cut that wrong. But we used Vader, Thrawn versus DR. Worked as well as it always does. And then we go ahead and take in Lord Vader here, and typically you want either a good Stormtrooper as a third, you want a Thrawn, you want a Maul. We didn't really have any of those, so we took Gideon, and Gideon honestly does just fine. Even our R3 Royal Guard is taking, he's taking quite the beating here, and the amount that Demoralize really does to this team is quite a bit. So we were able to time the ult just right after Starkiller uses all his stuff. We get Marge 8 out of there, which is just really, really nice. And now we have our ult, so they can't shock us. So it's really just a matter of time before they take enough damage, and then they're done. So Palpatine's out, and now it's Lord Vader versus Starkiller, and Starkiller is really good, but Lord Vader really just kind of has it on him in the 1v1. So we save our heal for when he put the healing immunity on us, so we don't waste it. He keeps coming in. Yeah, without his crit damage, he's just not doing too hot, and Lord Vader eventually kills him. This battle was pretty fun. I'm gonna use this. This just feels like such a cheap counter too. I mean, I know we've had the Nute team figured out for a minute, but this is just really easy. So we take in our typical Geo team. The only thing I did I took out Soldier and put in Sunfac, just because I didn't want Dooku to like just yeet someone off the edge here. And also, Sunfac applies blind to Jango. So that's really one of the big reasons we put him in, because now his next big rocket hit isn't gonna hit anyone. So we get Nute out right as he's about to take a turn, so he doesn't really gain that much turn meter in theory. The rocket misses, as we had planned. Sunfac is able to tank the basic from Jango really well. Soldier probably wouldn't have nearly as much. We're able to keep cleansing the extortion. We get what's-his-face out of there, get our health and protection back, get Jango number 1 out, and now he can't get around the taunt, so he's pretty much just toast. That's pretty much all she wrote for that one, so that was a pretty good one. Now we've got our JMK versus the Rey, and this is the whole reason why we did that really sketchy SLKR battle. This should go pretty well. One of the reasons why we did the SLKR thing down below and not SLKR here is because we left our Mon Mothma on defense, because he doesn't typically leave a comp with Hoda, but he left it this time, so that I didn't love that. But yeah, JMK Cat, it's a really, really, really good squad. I mean, even Rey is very good in 3s, but she's not quite this good. At least not to hold on defense. So we have a turn now to use that. We probably should have used the heal this turn, because I end up holding onto the damage immunity for one more turn, because I'm pretty sure, and I correct me if I'm wrong here, but if you put damage immunity to one character, the damage from Rey's ult gets split to the other two. So we just did the ult just to get the protection up going, so that the ult didn't hurt nearly as much. We got the armor shred on Rey. We got the healing immunity on her, so she can't keep getting back up. Because yeah, Hoda just did a big heal there. She keeps getting off whirlwinds. I think we just go for the basic here. Yeah, trying to do as much damage to Rey as possible. Just barely kill her. So 52, I'll take it. Now we still got to handle his Lord Vader up top, and Talon being in here really just, it's not good. We have enough, even with Talon speed, we still go first. We took in Bastila and Cam here, and I really like these two because Cam's armor shred is really great for when it's just down to Lord Vader, and Bastila has a cleanse, so we don't have shocks to cleanse everyone, but at least we can cleanse 2 characters to keep the days going. And then Talon just dies super fast without being Empire, so get the armor shred on Lord Vader. We go ahead and actually use the buffs onto Jedi Master Luke, just so we can get days off of everyone. We keep increasing Lord Vader's cooldowns. I don't want to have to deal with his days either. Keep calling in Cam and Bastila to assist the ability block, and Cam's damage is just very, very nice. We hold our own ult just in case he gets his, and he gets the ability block on us that we can't cleanse, but never wasn't really applicable. Going up against a CLS team with Nubaka and 3PO in there. We've done Bad Batch before. I didn't want to take JTR here because, and you can even see this even in this Bad Batch battle, but the Nubaka is loaded, just absolutely loaded with tenacity, to the point where he resists a lot of stuff, which is, even with Bad Batch, who have a ton of potency flying around between Hunter lead, Tech gives it to himself via translation, as well as just the raw potency up you get. So this isn't super great. We're trying to get Nubak out first. I think that probably, because of his tenacity, was not the right play. I think we should have just been going for CLS, because he ends up being a pain in the butt to kill. We just can't get the exposes to land to cut through them, so we just end up going for CLS first. And I mean, that's... These two can't do a whole lot, but it is just really annoying. Nubok, again, we just can't land the exposes on him to do damage, but also it's a pain because we can't control his turn meter, because otherwise that's how we would do it. We've got the blind on us now. Again, can't land the exposes, can't land the buff immunity. Yeah, this is just kind of, I feel like, pathetic on my part that we couldn't kill a Nubaka in the yellow without CLS there. So finally got him down. Worked just as well. We got to his back wall and he didn't have JML on defense, so he only put 5 Galactic Legends in Star Killer rather than 6. So we looked kind of for what was going to be the roughest team that wasn't a Galactic Legend, or just the most difficult team. And it was Iden. Actually, Iden didn't have her Omicron. Now that I look back on this, we probably didn't need to do this, but I didn't want to really find out what works and what doesn't work against Iden without the Omicron. So I think we go ahead and link up Magma and Iden first, because I figured they would get the most amount of turns. They did. Then we were able to relink, and we put it on Stormtrooper just because I'm afraid, I don't think we would time out, but it's something I'd rather not have to deal with if we don't have to. And we get to get the nice whack here and delete everyone. Then he's got the dash team, and I thought this was I thought this was a veteran Chewbacca, and it wasn't. Before going into the match, we figured out before we entered. So we go ahead and bring in the Hux team with the First Order TIE Pilot. This battle goes super, super well. We're able to get Vandor out pretty much immediately. And I mean, this team just doesn't have the damage to get through us. So we take out everyone that's needed, or we take out Vandor first so that he doesn't keep reviving. Get rid of Dash, and then, yeah, Han just dies. So easy 55. This battle was a little sketchy. There are definitely some things to be aware of. IG and Queel are going to die super easy to the protection up, but at the same time, Nest is actually really hard to kill with Padme, especially without Jedi Anakin's healing immunity. So we're pretty much relying on the fact that we're going to have to time a really big hit with GMY to be able to kill Nest. So this does take a minute, and it also is just a little bit risky because we have a ton of buffs on our team, and Nest is just going to get a stupid amount of crit damage very quickly, and also has a lot of health steal. So if we can't kill Nest within the first couple of turns, this isn't going to end well. Luckily, does take us a minute here. I don't even know if, yeah, using all those was the right move. We do get her down. We do get Nest down to the red, which is good, because now when we basic with JMY, he's getting offense up and defense penetration, which makes it a lot easier to kill things. So we don't use our big move there. Maybe we should have, actually, looking back on this. We use it now. Got the kill. Got her out. Called it good. So now we have one last team to kill on ground, and we go ahead and take in Crew, Fox, and Watt, just because we don't have 2 real teams to use here. We just needed, we just needed 1 good team, so we went ahead and put Watt on this team. And this, I mean, this really just does wonders. Obviously, there's some great synergy with the tech, but one of the other things that's just really cool is Watt is constantly putting out healing over time, which is great because every single time that Fox gets a buff, he's healing. So halfway through this battle, I was like, why does he have so much protection again? And that's the reason why, is because of basically the synergy between Crew Lead and Watt's basic. So I mean, we're just killing kind of whoever we can. It doesn't really matter. Fox has stacking damage because of how his max health keeps increasing. So sooner or later, Fox is just going to start executing everyone, which is exactly what happens. We use the basic there just to try to see if we can cover some protection on Watt, but it's a little bit too late, and that's fine. So once again, for what is probably the 10th time, I need to get a screenshot of all these fights. We're going to go ahead and take in our Burner versus Executor. This one is the non-taunting tank variant. We've done it against both. It works pretty well. Went in, Burner went perfectly, drained all the cooldowns. We go ahead and put defense penetration up because Xanadu Blood is already taunting. Biggs takes some hits, but not enough to kill it. We get the 1 assist, which is really all we need for the overhead to come in and just kill them. So this is great. Everything's going more or less according to plan here. They do have 1 breach on us, which isn't super great because we're not able to just remove everything. But now we want to go after the other characters, so we go ahead and use the Shield Disruptor, not because it'll land, because there really wasn't anything else around. Get some pretty bad RNG with the Millennium Falcon there. There were about 2 or 3 opportunities that she could have assisted, and she just didn't. So that is something to consider. But again, got to commit to controlling the board with Phoenix, taking a character that can actually call her to assist and get it reliably. We're kind of stuck behind the taunt now because we had breach there. We go ahead and just commit to using the basic because I don't want to get stuck behind Houndstooth forever. Go ahead and use the AoE there onto what's his face, Razor Crest. We're able to get him down. Now that there's really isn't a way for Houndstooth to taunt again until then. So now it's just the two of them. And this is really good. Pretty much we're able to kill a reinforcement as quickly as they're bringing it in. We again kind of get stuck behind Houndstooth here because we have breach on our Y-Wing. No real point in bringing in Cassian because he's not going to be able to rip that buff off. So we go ahead and take in the character, with buff immunity. Again, don't get the right assists here. Had either two of the characters could have called Millennium Falcon to assist, and it would have cleared the taunt and also put with the buff immunity there. But we don't really need that to happen. We were able to get to our ult. We're able to get a lot of really good hits in, but this team really struggles, at least at the gear levels we have, to get down Houndstooth without Shield Disruptor. So we don't get Shield Disruptor until really the very end here. And we're really relying on at least getting one assist from Millennium Falcon. So the Slave One does some damage on us. We go ahead and call in Cassian just to get some good damage. They actually get to their ult, which is, I think, the first... No, it might be the second time this has happened. But really, we just need one character to call Millennium Falcon to assist, and we'll be in the clear. So, we get it. They go down. Awesome. And now into Negotiator. I hate Negotiator. I hate this fleet. This really is our only option. We had Finalizer. We have not had good luck with Finalizer, especially with a weak Echelon. So, we just take a Malevolence. Play this a little bit differently than normal. We go ahead and put the stun on Ahsoka, just so that she can't give everyone retribution. We don't have to deal with that. And we'll just go ahead and let What's-His-Face taunt. Like, that's quite honestly fine. But, yeah, I don't... This team didn't have Sarge in the reinforcement, so... And that really makes most Negotiators easy mode, because you have one less character that Spy can target, so that helps out a lot. So they bring in 5s first, because they don't have Sarge as a reinforcement, so this isn't great for us. But I'm looking here right now, and I'm like... I'm pretty sure we can just take an Ebonhawk. He'll remove the taunt. We basic Jedi Anakin, give everyone turn meter, and then we get 2 more turns for them to just kill Jedi Anakin. So, like, I think this will work, so we do it, and he dies. And that's awesome. So now, the fleet is still pretty functional. They've still got 2 decent damage dealers in their tank in there. But at the same time, Jedi Anakin is out very early. Like, very, very early. So I'm like, okay, this is good. This is really good. Like, the potential for just one shot, this is a lot higher. We get Ahsoka out pretty much immediately. That's really, really good for us. They do bring in Plo. That's annoying. But at the same time, without the 2 primary damage dealers there, this is still looking very, very manageable. Go ahead and take out Plo just because he's an easy target. Don't want to have to deal with him getting unending loyalty and then healing everyone. So they get their AoE off again, daze everyone. We go for a basic here, actually, just to cleanse some of that stuff off. We lose another character. We're not close enough to our own ult, but we just go ahead and take in Spy just because I figured he would be able to kill 5s on his own. It turned out to be mostly right. Ebonhawk at the blowing kill. And they bring in Rex, and at this point, it's just annoying. It's like, okay, 2 tank characters are not going to kill, or not going to finish us off here. So we just use specials, get everyone else down. They took away my overcharge. Oh well, Spy got the kill. Good enough. So good 63 there, and now we just have Raddus left to beat. And we're going to go ahead and take in our Finalizer. I've been a little sketchy with this. Bit Dynasty has been telling us, or has told us once, that taking Ebonhawk makes this fight a lot easier. Unfortunately, Ebonhawk was very crucial to getting our Negotiator to work, or to getting our Negotiator counter to work, so we weren't able to test that or have fun with that. Not say the Bit Dynasty is wrong or anything, it's probably not. I really wanted to test that to see if that would just fix our problem, because this battle's it's a mess. Typically takes a while for us to get through the bomber, and then bad things just end up happening. But luckily, this comp didn't start the Millennium Falcon, so that was very good for us. They did bring in Sarge, but that's not the largest problem in the world. Like, we're able to work around him pretty well. We get him to stop doing things, then he stealths on his own, so that's nice for us. And then we just kind of took a gamble here at a big hit on Resistance Pilot. So gamble being that he doesn't dodge. Works out. At this point, it's really not a whole lot they can do. It's just going to be yeah, it's just going to be that one ship. So finally down to Poe, calling the basic, get the big hit with Finalizer, take him down. And our opponent didn't do so hot as far as banners go. So we won this match by a good margin too, by well over 100 banners. So our opponent was actually attacking before we did. He finished ships at about a similar time that we did, but he had already done a lot of ground battles before we had, and he honestly was pretty sloppy. Dropped a battle on Darth Revan, dropped a battle on Gas, dropped a battle on Qui-Gon, all of that before we even started attacking. I really thought that he thought his defense was just going to hold against us. Whether he looked at history or just based off the fact that we don't have Starkiller Array, I think he thought that the 6 of them would really, really put up a fight and that he wouldn't have to worry about banners and it would just be him full clearing and calling it good. So yeah, he dropped those 3 in the front. He dropped one on CLS. I want to say he dropped one up top too. Yeah, I think he dropped one against Nute. Oh yeah, he dropped one against Nute and Boba. So, you know, 3, 4, 5. And then dropped one in ships as well. So he dropped a total of 6 battles. Again, I think he just thought that he was going to... all he was going to have to do is full clear. And he was going to get the win. But we got it this time, despite his pretty big material advantage. But yeah, it was overall a good one. Remember to like and subscribe, everyone. And as always, stay awesome.